By declaration, I, Cody Stovall, do solemnly swear that if Mike Gundy and Kasey Dunn do not stand on business and choose politics and favorites over the best players available, I will lead the charge, pitchfork in hand, for the F around and find out parade right down Duck and Main Street.
You are Locked On Oklahoma State, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma State Cowboys, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Howdy, y'all, and hello, all. Welcome back to Locked On Oklahoma State, your daily stop for all things Cowboy and Cowgirl related. My name is Cody Stovall. I want to thank you kindly for stopping by. We're available on all of your podcasting platforms, visually as well on YouTube. Find me personally on X at AllDayOState. Today, we're partially brought to you by LinkedIn. Every hire today, it's a complete high-stakes wager. That's why LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the right people faster and for free. LinkedIn.com/LockedOnCollege is where you need to go today. Terms and conditions do apply. The terms and conditions for 2024 Oklahoma State should be Big 12 title or bust. It should be raising the bar from 2021, 2023. Raising the bar would mean coming home with a trophy. When you have 20-ish returning starters, right? 21 if you factor in Lyric Rawls, the expectation should be this high. But the expectation should be even higher, should it not? Because if we were to peek back to some of the biggest years for Oklahoma State, whether you're thinking 2011, the 2017-18 range, 2021, 2023, 2020, whatever, nothing is going to compare to this team. Nothing's going to compare to this roster. We have, 13, 14, 6-year, 7th-year style seniors on this roster, most of which obviously being starters. But that ties in to this whole segment. Just because it's a 5th-year, 6th-year, 7th-year guy, that doesn't mean he should automatically be the starter. Now, we've heard that this fall, this spring, it's more or less open competitions all the way across the board. Now, you and I both know some of that is just tongue-in-cheek. Some of these positions are already sewn up, like running back. Everybody in the country knows that we have the best running back in the country at Oklahoma State and Ollie Gordon. So there's no question that he's going to be the guy. The question is, are Sessi Velahe and A.J. Green going to battle it out for that 2 spot? The question is, will Hendricks show up ready to rock and roll and maybe make some inroads in spring ball? There's no question there. There should be questions at other positions. And again, we all know that Mike Gundy does have a propensity to play the older guy. Mike Gundy has said ad nauseum that it takes 3 years for a quarterback to figure it out at Oklahoma State. It takes multiple years for everybody to kind of get with the understanding of where to go on campus, where your classes are, where your finals are, where you're supposed to study, where you're supposed to meet up with your GA. Then you're supposed to study film and go to practice and go to weight session. It's a lot, right? So it makes sense that your older guys are the ones that can typically navigate not only college life, but college football a lot easier. It becomes a lot more manageable to take on the body by glass as well as enhance your report card whenever you have an understanding of what every day is going to be and who everybody is and where everybody's from and where you need to go for all of your classes and all of that good stuff. It is easier. But at the same time, it doesn't need to relegate the talented to not being ready, right? I caught a little bit of flack for saying that I think that Talon Shetron should have the opportunity to beat out Rashad Owens. And we'll talk about more of that in the segment. But again, standing on business. This was kind of new to me, right? My son mentioned the other day, I had to ask him what it was, and he was like, it's just doing the right thing, right? If somebody says something to you, if somebody says something disrespectful to your girlfriend or your wife or something to that effect, or your mom, you got to stand on business and do the right thing. Well, when you Google standing on business, it says to take care of your responsibilities and put your money where your mouth is. Well, for Mike Gundy, his money is a lot. Whenever you're sniffing the $8 million a year range, financially, you're probably doing okay. And I'm not going to sit here and say Mike Gundy doesn't do anything with his money. I do know that Mike Gundy, much like Mike Boynton, was interested in finding ways that coaches could potentially give a portion to NIL. So Mike Gundy clearly wants to participate. He knows that financially he's in a very good spot. He's the king of Stillwater. That's not going to change unless something gets super, super crazy. But I would assume, right? I've told myself 100 times, I've had several conversations with people where I've convinced myself that surely Mike Gundy understands the lay of the land. Mike Gundy understands the pulse fan base. He understands the pulse of where we are at Oklahoma State this season. Surely he understands he'll likely never, ever, ever have 20 returning starters again, even if he coached for 30 more years, right? So surely Mike Gundy even knows that this season is about capitalization. It's not about, well, he's been here 7 years, he should start. It's not about he was the guy last year, so surely he's going to be the guy this year. If it is about that, then we might as well hang him up, take a 10-win season, maybe a trip to Arlington, maybe not. Who cares? Well, I tell you, I care. And I know there's a decent amount of fellas on that roster that care. So surely Mike Gundy cares, right? Surely this is a season where he's not going to play favorites. He's not going to go for politics over the best players available. Surely somebody in the comment section let me know. Cody, don't get out on that ledge. Yes, Mike Gundy is aware that this season is massive. Mike Gundy is aware that he'll never have 20 returning starters again. Therefore, Mike Gundy knows that he's going to have to do more. He's going to have to go further, go harder, get a little Dan Campbell, chew the kneecaps off. Don't take a Dan Campbell to get to the Super Bowl, not field goal style stuff. But you can be more aggressive while also being intelligent. Have a hardcore, heavy-duty, all-day, everyday practice without doing a bunch of thud because you have the talent, you have the depth. That's the biggest key here. You have the depth. The depth is designed to push the first team. So let them push, but also give them an opportunity. If there's somebody better in the background, he should play over the 5th year, 6th year, 7th year senior. Sorry, not sorry. When I was a player, I thought differently. As a player, it's like, okay, if I just bide my time, by the time I'm a junior, senior, there's no way I'm not going to be the surefire starter, right? But after coaching and examining the game for a while, more often than not, I still stand by that with Gundy, that if you put your time in, a.k.a. a Taylor Cornelius, you deserve a shot. If you've been here for 3-4 years already and you've gone through the body by glass over and over and over, and you know the playbook like the back of your hand, and you're good enough, you should get a shot. Typically, I'm fine with that, but this isn't a typical season. 2024 is not a scenario where we're returning 16 starters off of an 8-win ball club. Most everybody in the country would be absolutely elated if they brought back 16 starters off an 8-win ball club. But we're not doing that. We're bringing 20-plus starters back and 90% of the roster from a 10-win ball club. So 10 wins should not be the expectation. 10 wins should be the bare minimum. We know what some of these players provide, and providing us with 10 wins would be flipping awesome. But you and I both know, or at least we should know by now, that if we do not win the Big 12 title in 2024, we wasted this roster. We wasted this opportunity. We wasted this Heisman campaign for Ollie Gordon. And that's what I would like to avoid. 99% of the time, you want to play the favorites, play the politics, okay, fine. But this ain't that season. This season, the absolute best players should play, point blank, period. So if they grade better in practice, they should play more in the games. Not what we think they could do, not what we hope they should do. Do it off of merit. Do it off of statistical or evidentiary proof that this guy is definitely better than this guy. Even if this other guy was the starter last year, even if this other guy was a starter for years. Play the best players. Don't get cute. Don't play politics. Don't play favorites, because you have some coaches have different opinions. But at the end of the day, it's going to be Mike Gundy's decision, Brian Nardo's decision, or Kasey Dunn's decision. And sometimes decision making for Dunn and Gundy traditionally have been a little troublesome. Hopefully this year we avoid that. The quarterback competition can be a good thing, just like competitions everywhere else, like at certain receiver spots, is a good thing. It should be welcomed as opposed to feared. I know some of us fear grabbing somebody else or playing somebody else or starting somebody else. We shouldn't play with fear this season, in my opinion. And you shouldn't drive with fear. Before we talk about some of those position battles that we need to pay attention to, you already know having the right drive, passion, and performance is what Nissan does. And March Madness is here. The brackets are crazy. And every week we're going to pick a team that stands out, a team that does a little bit more and can push it a little bit further than the rest. Well, we've already designated the Houston Cougars as the big body beast of Armada. We've already decided that the Iowa State Cyclones are the bad mama jamma coming up on the rise Nissan Rogue of the bunch. The rest of Big 12 is sitting kind of difficult unless you're Arizona. Arizona now has become the big body beast of Armada that is destined to secure a spot further than just the Sweet 16. Sweet 16 is already a massive ordeal, but they're picked by many to win their next matchup to put them in the Elite Eight. That's because they're a big body beast version of the Nissan Armada. So take the Armada, the Pathfinder, or the Iowa State style Rogue on your next big adventure. Make sure you shop NissanUSA.com. Again, that is NissanUSA.com. And while you're at it, let's maximize your capabilities financially. Say goodbye to the busted brackets because you can still bet on every single individual game in the tourney. Right now, new customers get $200 back in bonus bets with any $5 winning bet. That is $200 back you can use in bonus bets, whether it be for player props or point spreads or money lines or overs, unders. Who's going to make the next basket? Who's going to cut down the nets at the very, very end? Just visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn, all one word, to bet on college hoops right now and all the way to the day that they cut down the nets at the end. Speaking of some of the position battles that should be happening, I know the biggest one's always going to be quarterback. And I think there's a percentage of the fan base, I would say 35-ish% of the fan base is pretty happy, pretty content with Alan Bowman definitely being the guy of the season. And then you have an exorbitant number of the fan base that knows Alan Bowman has limitations and they feel like he's not magically going to figure out his happy feet his 7th year in college football. A large portion of those, however, feel like Zane Flores should be the next guy. And Zane Flores is the shiny toy that everybody hasn't got to see yet, unless you've been watching some of the trick shot stuff with Hudson Cock over there at Instagram. Then you'll see some little fun stuff with Zane. But Zane Flores is pushing, and athletically, physically, he's already there. He has all the intangibles to put himself squarely in the mix to potentially be a guy that wins the job. We just had Garrett Rangel on the program the other day. We know that he's gone from 182 pounds to 208 pounds, so body by glass has not been a problem. We know that last season he was able to shave 0.2 off of his 40. This year he should be able to get pretty daggone close to that, maybe not quite 0.2, but again, it'll be a considerable effort that he's had to put in to get where he's at. So that means the quarterback competition should be realistic, right? If there was ever conversations in regard to Garrett Rangel or Zane Flores staying because they're going to have opportunities, should we not make sure that we abide by that? It's the same goes, let's take wide receiver, for example. I did catch some heat by saying that, Talon Shetron might be better than Rashad Owens. Okay, but how many times have we watched Rashad Owens drop passes? Rashad Owens is a bad mamma jamma. And now Rashad Owens is up over 230 pounds. So he's back to his tight end weight. he is going to be a beast. He is going to be a terrible yards after catch individual that defenses are going to have to deal with. But he also should be in a competition. Talon Shetron has shown glimpses of why he was such a big-time get. We haven't necessarily seen the consistency because has injuries that keep popping up. Well, now that he's over the 200-pound range or right around there, he should be able to limit some of that. He can high point better. He has obviously a better vertical. He's more athletic. He can do more out in the open. Is he going to break through tackles like Rashad? Absolutely not. Should Rashad get the opportunity to earn the job being a fourth-year, fifth-year style of guy? Absolutely, yes, he should. But to relegate Talon Shetron to a backup role should not even be a consideration here. Rashad Owens is a good dude. He's a good football player. But he averages a couple drops almost every single game. Talon Shetron does not, even though Talon has a much, much, much smaller sample size. He seems to have better hands and more reliable route running than Rashad Owens. Therefore, Talon Shetron should have every single opportunity to pass Rashad. Would that make some of the fan base upset? Yeah, because Rashad's a fifth-year guy that did prove at times he can do some big things. But again, if you go back and look at last year's film, he drops a pass or two every single game. That's the knock on Rashad. Doesn't have great hands. Doesn't have the greatest vertical. He can get separation on his routes, but his biggest skill set is going to be yards after contact. Therefore, there should be competition here. We all know that BP's the bee's knees at the slot receiver spot. Now, we've heard and seen several times where Cameron Hurd has popped up and given people a run for their money and been a very good understudy for Brennan Presley. But let's not discount what Tyke Andrews can do. Let's not discount that when Gil Cabanis is healthy, he can play a multitude of spots. Let's just not automatically assume that Trey Griffiths, being a freshman, is going to be a hindrance on him getting on the field. We're pretty squared away at wide receiver. I think Jalen Pope is naturally a good fit to continue in this competition. But let the competition push out who's going to be the best. If Tyke Andrews is better than Kel Cabanis, we all love Cabby, okay? But Tyke Andrews should be that guy. If for whatever reason Talon Shetron puts it all together and doesn't drop the ball, he should probably play above Rashad Owens. Right? Tyler Foster's coming in to replicate what Josiah Johnson was doing plus some. But let's not forget that Quentin Stewart, he's another one of those guys that have put in his time, fifth-year style guy, 6'3", 250, blocks really well. He doesn't drop many passes. He doesn't get many, but he could be another guy that we might be underestimating in the route concepts. When it comes to safety, is anybody going to take Kendall Daniels' job? No. But is Kendall Daniels beefed up so much that he might need to slide up and be more of a heavy hitter? Absolutely. So what does that mean for Cameron Epps? We know Lyric Rawls is coming back. He's a bona fide certified Big 12 starting caliber safety, but Cam Epps had a good season. Trey Rucker, if he can improve on his speed, he should be in a different position, setting himself up for the NFL. But you guys all know, Tywan Ray Jr., to me, was the biggest up-and-coming guy from the defense last season. And then in 1 year, he put over 20 pounds of muscle on his body. So clearly he's taking it very, very seriously. So he should maybe get a look to push for some playing time. We all know we really like Dylan Smith. Cam Franklin has been a guy that I think has showed up a little bit more, especially recently. But is he going to be able to push enough to get Trey Rucker bumped out of some spots, to get Cam Epps bumped out of some spots? Is Cam Epps going to move back to more of a free safety role? We know that Kobe Hilton's coming over from UTEP, and he was very, very, very successful at UTEP. Where does he fit in? If he's the best, he should play. If he's better than Kendall Daniels, he should play above Kendall Daniels. Is that likely? No. But if it's a possibility and he proves it, let it happen. Let it fly. We're all still going to love Kendall, and Kendall's still going to love being a Cowboy. But if he's better, he should play. I don't care if Kobe's better than Trey, if he's better than Kendall, if he's better than Lyric, better than Cam. It doesn't matter. This is a season where best players should play. Point blank, period. I mean, we just had Hudson on the show, and we know that there's a competition there. West Paul has a massive leg. which is why he's got boots of over 60 yards already under his belt in college. Hudson's more of the pinpoint placement guy, but he's working on his leg. And on top of the pinpoint placement, his ambidextrous ability to roll right, roll left could be something that supplants him above Westfall for every single punt instead of situational punting. Offensive line, we got 6 dudes back, right? We've also got Taylor Materko waiting in the wings. But as much as I love Dalton Cooper, I think Dalton Cooper is an NFL guy. If Isaiah Glass comes over and he brings his 100 and whatever starts with him, and he's better than, let's say, Jake Springfield, who's put in his time, he's a 5th-year, 6th-year guy as well, then Isaiah Glass should start over Springfield. If he's better than Cooper, he should start over Cooper. Jason Queso-Brooks scored out phenomenally. Matter of fact, when it goes to grading, he's typically the best offensive lineman that grades out almost every single game and most every single practice. We love Preston Wilson, but if he's better, he should play. We love Cole Birmingham. We love his leadership. But if Jason Queso-Brooks is better there, he should play. If Jack Indine has excelled so much after already pushing as a true freshman, now that he's a redshirt freshman, if he's better, he should play. It's lovely having 5-year, 6-year returning starters on the offensive line. It's phenomenal. But those 5 or 6 guys shouldn't automatically be penciled in as the day one starter. We know nobody's really going to take over for Nick Martin, but Jeff Robertson has shown flashes. Jeff Robertson was going to be a starter over Xavier Benson before his devastating injury. He's been in recovery. He's ready to rock and roll. Ike Essenwoon is somebody that I don't think we can keep off of the field, whether it be in a special teams kind of role or a 2 deep, 3 deep linebacker style of role. He's too good. We know Gabe Brown was emerging last season, and now he's up over 245, 250 pounds. He's still been able to maintain that 4.6 40. He should be somebody that if he's better than, let's say, Justin Wright, then he should play over Justin Wright. Justin Wright's got 5 years of experience. He's got multiple years of over 100 tackles. He's the Dan Campbell quintessential chew your kneecaps off style of guy. We need him. We love him. I think he's going to be a dude, the dude, to fill that Xavier Benson role and maybe even excel off of it a little bit more. But if Gabe Brown's better, he should start. If Jeff Robertson's better, he should start. If Ike Essenwoon is a redshirt freshman and better, he should start. Heck, I don't care if Demaric Johnson comes in at 6'3", 200 pounds. If he's better, he should start. This goes all the way across the board, guys. DJ McKinney leaving, I think, did solidify a spot for either a Cam Smith or a Corey Black. But we know we really, really, really like Cale Smith. We all know that RJ Lester's 6'3", 190. He's going to be a hard cornerback to keep off of the field. Kenneth Harris, he has a load of experience coming over from Arkansas State. He learned a lot last year. He was able to understand the nuances of what Brian Naro's trying to do defensively. If he's better than Corey, he should start. If he's better than Cam, he should start. I love Corey. I love Cam. I think Cam Smith is another NFL guy. But if Kenneth Harris, his experience and his ability is better, then he should be the guy. But just on the flip side of that, if RJ Lester's a redshirt freshman that brings that 6'3", almost 200-pound frame into the mix, then he should be the guy. Don't play favorites. Don't use politics this season. Please, pretty please, with sprinkles on top. This ain't the year. This ain't the year to play favorites, to play the 5th-year, 6th-year, 7th-year guy just because. A lot of years, absolutely sure that's fine. This ain't one of them. To me, it just makes a whole lot of sense for us to push and push and push in practice to create diamonds, to push enough pressure that the diamonds form naturally, organically, instead of, well, he played last year, so he should play. He started last year, and this coach loves him, so he should get it. No more shoulda, coulda, woulda. This year's about doing the daggone thing. We've heard the players say 1,000 times. You have to go take it, okay? But as a coach, you have to allow the players to take it. If your mantra this season is go take the Big 12 title, go take the position, you have to allow them to do so. If you allow players to compete and the competition equals somebody taking a job, then give them the daggone thing. No more politics, no more favorites, no more seventh-year stuff. Play the best players, point blank, period. Find the best people for your company as well, point blank, period, with LinkedIn. It's not just your typical run-of-the-mill job board, okay? They've got a vast network of more than 1 billion professionals, which makes it the best place for you. It gives you access to professionals that you can't find anywhere else. They do all of this just to make your life easier. So easy, in fact, that 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate in the first 24 hours. LinkedIn is constantly finding new ways to make the process easier for you. They even just launched a feature that helps you write job descriptions on top of the other features that they have to make the hiring process better and easier for you. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. Again, that is linkedin.com/lockedoncollege, all one word. Go there now, post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. Well, there's been terms of this Rob Walton fiasco over the last few years that don't make sense. There's been conditions that have not been super beneficial for Oklahoma State entering postseason play. But just to prove how crazy the Big 12 is, which we know, the series win over number 18 TCU in baseball over the weekend catapulted Oklahoma State from 10th, 11th place in the Big 12 to 5th place. One weekend, one series, 2 W's, 11th place, 10th place, 5th place. Bada boom, bada bing, bada bang. TCU is a very good ball club. But we know where Oklahoma State baseball should be at all times. Now, we do have to give props to TCU. They played a really good ball game, and we all know that they're a very squared away ball club that's super easy to knock off, right? Beating TCU in baseball anytime is a difficult proposition. But we got it done. And now it sets us up for at least a possibility to stay in the hunt for Big 12 title. Why this is important this season is there's not very many built-in series W's, as we already witnessed with UCF. K-State is leading the conference in baseball. Kansas State, not Oklahoma State, not TCU, not Texas Tech, but K-State. TCU is technically now in last place. A top 20 team is the last place team in the Big 12 now. That's how wild the Big 12 is going to be this season. So you got to take the ones when they come. Josh Holiday did just that. And the pitching was it was impressive. It was impressive. They had an Okie. His name escapes me at the moment, but they had an Okie pitch the first game. It was a pitcher's duel, 1-0. He was from the Yukon area, put up 15 Ks, which is the most strikeouts by a TCU pitcher since 2011. So hats off to you, sir. It sucks that you left the state of Oklahoma to go dominate us at TCU, but nonetheless, he pitched to Jim. They won them the first game. The next 2 games, we found our bats. And Brian Holiday is an ace. I know Gabe Davis is going to be a mainstay. I think a lot of people anticipated him being the unquestioned ace this season. But Brian Holiday is creeping his way up in there. And then softball. Losing a game, any game in softball, is just weird, right? Doesn't sit right, doesn't feel right, feels like something's off if softball loses a game anytime ever. They lost a game to a pretty talented BYU ball club, found a way to bounce back. We won the series, got her done. And BYU's missing quite a few pitchers off of their staff, and they're missing some players. So good fight from them. Welcome to the Big 12. Playing in Provo, from what I've heard, was absolutely phenomenal, gorgeous, a lot of fun. The people are pretty awesome too. So glad the sports on the diamond both got series clinching W's. As softball sits at number 3 in the Big 12, we take on Texas. Well, we play Missouri State, which we can't overlook, and then Texas. So their 28-3 record comes to Stillwater to take on the Cowgirls. Anywho, that's all we're going to have for this one right here. You know I love you. As always, God bless. Go Pokes. Thank you for tuning in to make this your first listen here in Locked On Oklahoma State. My podcasting people, leave a review, hit the stars, do what you do. Hit the like, comment, share, subscribe. Get your fingers active. Do the daggone thing. All righty, y'all. Later, taters.